Okay, it's
Yeah,
funny. Looking at Instagram said, oh, every guy think we're gonna find a perfect guy or a rich guy. It's not. We just need a body that never gain weight.
Oh, what I mean?
No, we want the bodies that never gain weight.
Oh, yeah.
That's our dream.
Right. But I normally me I try to stay away from like sugar, you know,
That's good, yeah.
like Starbucks drinks.
Yeah.
I stay away from that. Uh,
Sugar is never my problem, but I know it. I let you know.
no, it's okay. Thank you for coming.
Oh, sure.
My comment is that I want you to use this control. She owns more technology and she has the ability to
So,
buy.
fire, okay.
And because I said it's already paid for it, and she said, I want you to do the same. I said, fine, not a problem. So I called the number that she gave me, and this guy, didn't know his name, but it was super sweet. We got the warranty for her, and then he said, I've been to your office, talk to Frank, and he promised that I would, that I can talk to you. I'm going to bring whatever you want to do outside, okay? I'll talk to you together.
Oh, I think it's a new guy, and I think it's your friend from Fidelity, Laura.
Yeah.
Your friend from Fidelity, what's his name?
He knew Laura.
Yeah.
Last time they did that.
So he called me and said, I'm willing to work with you guys. I came there.
Did you feel something swap kind of?
I don't have a problem having that one. So what do you have to lose up on?
That's what I done. But I said, I promise I'll talk to him. No guarantee. And he said, no, just talk to him.
Tell me about All right. Stay like a legit holiday or like. Should I wear this? Or should I just wear it?
Probably not. I think, I mean, if you want to look cool, go for it. This is working, so.
That's working.
Yeah.
Two people on, we're rocking and rolling early.
Still have a minute.
Oh. Mitch just sent me a picture.
Cheating on you, huh?
Is it Grizzly? Oh. You know what? He's
I said, how are you doing? And he sent me this picture.
pretty good. He looks better than you do.
Test 1, 2. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, people are popping in.
Morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good.
Excited about Valentine's Day?
No, my baby is in Oklahoma.
Ah,
We fixed it, that's it.
there we go.
Duncan, how are you, Duncan?
Duncan, I wouldn't even have guessed that. Wouldn't even have guessed that.
How do you? Huh?
Yes.
Tomorrow has education.
Is it tomorrow or Friday?
Maybe she can. Whatever. Like, she's organizing. Like, she could give us like.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sure she would.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Does it help, like that's a phone?
Uh-huh.
After the meeting, it really helps.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I just read with an overshoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she's awesome at it.
Yeah.
Will you be at the education meeting or?
Oh, who are gonna come to the session?
Okay.
So then, I don't know, maybe at least I'm gonna do Zoom.
Okay.
And then I suggested an event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We'll get take care of it.
Caboose.
All right, let's get the party started, everybody. It is 10:02. Joe Shoku,
John Shoku.
everybody, everybody. We're gonna get started. Sandy put together, I think it's Sandy, I'm not 100% sure, but Sandy put together a really nice presentation that has lots of Valentine's Day-esque things on here. Sandy, did you do that? She got,
Sandy.
oh,
Oh.
there's a fire?
You're coming, though. That's okay.
Oh, okay, all right. Good morning. Is Joey on right now? Because Joey's probably freaking out right now. Sandy, did you do the slides with all the hearts and everything? Look at that, so nice. So nice, like very, very holiday-esque. I like it.
I'll open it straight there.
All right, let's get this party started. So let's start off with tell me something positive, tell me something good that's happened. We got 8 people joining. We had 9 when somebody left. Wow. So yes, what do you have that's positive?
Okay, positive. I did a fundraiser over the weekend for the Harold Robinson Foundation, which we raised money for underprivileged kids,
Okay,
and we raised over 250,000.
oh my gosh,
And
wow,
Our rate, 250,000.
Wow.
it's almost a down payment on a house.
We did it at the
Close.
El Rey Theater,
The which theater?
the El Rey.
El Rey Theater, okay,
Which was fabulous.
yeah,
We had a gambling night. So we had tables, blackjack, and it went very well. This coming week on the 17th, I have another one for Rwanda Rocks.
okay,
Last year we raised 700,000, and this is to build schools in Africa. This time we're doing to raise money to get music into every school.
and you're from Africa, right?
Yes.
So were you born and raised there?
I was born and raised in South Africa.
Okay,
Although we're not focusing on South Africa.
Right, right.
it's Focusing on.
but it's something
everything.
that's close to you.
Yes, we're focusing on everything above Rhodesia.
I failed geography, so I have no idea, but I get it, but yeah.
It's not Rhodesia anymore, it's something else.
North of Rhodesia?
Yes, so everything north, so Rwanda, Kenya, Malawi, all those places up to Egypt. So we're focusing on all of that.
Awesome, awesome. If somebody wants to participate or contribute, do I just point them to you?
Yes, please.
Go to Glenn, because he is deeply involved in these charity organizations that are amazingly helping the globe. It's not like, I'm talking about KW Cares, like, this is like global, like amazing stuff, so that's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
we're trying to build or get at least 25 schools built in Rwanda by 2025.
Wow,
So far, we're at 12.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So we've got a lot of work to do.
that's awesome, that's super positive, I love, anybody has any questions, talk to Glenn about that. Anybody else? Something positive, something cool that's happened in the last week? Super Bowl, right? I mean, who watched the Super Bowl? Really? So be honest now, lying is devil. How many of you guys are Swifties? Oh, look, he's a Swiftie. Come on. No, Joe, I would have guessed you'd be a Swiftie. You have a daughter, right? You have a daughter?
Yeah, but you know what? We are all 49ers.
Ah,
Even my 10-year-old daughter is, and then the fun, she made a bet
yeah,
with her friends.
Your 10-year-old daughter made a bet.
Yeah.
Okay, so just want to make sure we get the
Yeah,
both parts
she
out
said
here.
that if 49ers lose, she's gonna listen to 2 hours of Taylor. So the next day I'm going home and I see her tablet and the headset, so what the hell are you doing? So I lost the bet.
That's so, and, any Chiefs fans? No Chiefs fan, because are we in California, because we're out there often be 49er fans?
I'm from up north, so.
I'm excited, so, go ahead, who's that, Joey?
I wanted the Chiefs, yeah. I didn't care that much. But I lived in San Francisco. 49er fans are, you know,
Joey's this.
they can be a little much.
You're a Swiftie, Joey, come on.
I'm not sure.
Take it
I'm
off.
not a fan of her music, but I'm a fan of her whole vibe there. But San Francisco has the Giants. They have a lot that they're working with. Kansas City, not so much. You got to throw the dog a bone. I like when the little guy gets,
You're not hearing.
wins.
Hey,
it.
Joe, say that again, we didn't hear you.
What's that?
We didn't hear you, say it again.
Oh, I was gonna say, I like when the little guy kind of, wins out a little bit, like, San Francisco's, they have a lot to hang their hat on. Kansas City, it's nice to give them a little something there.
I don't know, the San Francisco lost
They were
4 out of the
training
last
the
5.
whole game. They were behind every single part. They just, last minute, they came back and got it,
It was a good game.
San Francisco has lost, I think, the last 4 out of 5 Super Bowls they've been to, so it kind of feel bad for them a little bit.
Yeah.
They each get $30 million, don't they?
I don't know if it's 30, but they do make a lot of money,
I
yes.
think it's the problem.
Get table side service, what's that?
I think the problem is the mayor and the governor. I blame it on Newsom and on the mayor.
Okay, this is, the conversation is going sideways, let's,
But the Purdy story is pretty compelling though.
the Purdy story is pretty good, yeah, it is. All right, so quote of the day. You don't have to always be amazing, you do always have to show up. What matters is sticking around for the next at bat. This is from the book I'm reading right now, which is Ryan Holiday's Discipline is Destiny. It's actually a really, really, really good book. It was suggested to me by, I think, somebody in Keller Williams International. But this talks about something that I'm talking about all the time, about you have to show up for your business. When people say you have to stick around for the next at bat, this is the big difference. When people talk about at bats, they're talking about baseball and hitting home runs, right? So to be an amazing baseball player and to actually make it into like the Hall of Fame, your batting average it only has to be a little over 30%, which means 3 out of 10 balls, if you hit, you can make it into the Hall of Fame, which is like, to me, that's crazy, but I'm not a baseball player. But there's a big difference between baseball and business. When you're in business, when you're at bat, so in baseball, if you hit a home run, the most you can score with a home run is 4. That's the most, the 3 people standing on first, second, and third, and yourself hitting the ball. But in business, sometimes your score is 100, it's 1,000, it's 1,000,000. So you can actually hit a home run in business and get way more than just 4 scores. And you only have so many at-bats when you're in a baseball game. In business, you have at-bats every day. So like if there's a 1 in 10 chance of you doing something, you take that bet every day because you can always, like if you get knocked down, you stand back up. You get knocked down, you stand back up. And it just really matters how many times can you stand back up, because next time you take a swing, you might get that $1 million listing, that $2 million, that $5 million listing. So it's not about being amazing. It's about showing up and doing it every day, because you never know when you're going to swing the bat and you can be like, holy crap, look what just happened. So I thought that this resonated with me because like a lot of you don't know my personal story, but like I've been knocked down so many times, and like the only reason that I'm here today and that I've had any success in anything I've ever done is because I've stood back up and I just don't take no, and I don't get things given to me. So that resonated with me a lot. Have you read the book, Joey?
No, but you know I like Ryan. I'm
Yeah.
a fan of Ryan. I'm gonna check it out.
It is. I think you'll like it a lot. All right.
So he has a whole Taylor Swift analysis of, you know, what happened to her with her first manager and then changing the whole trajectory of that conversation and her life and what doing that, how doing that affected, you know, the scale of her stardom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, regardless if you're a Swiftie or not, what Joey's talking about is Taylor Swift has an amazing business story on how she actually got started. It wasn't easy for her. She actually did what I would consider door knocking in business to get her start. So,
Right, can I?
yes,
Say one quick.
absolutely.
Somebody asked her in a meeting about that, what do you suggest to do to be successful in business? Her answer was that, get a good attorney.
Good attorney is the key in that sentence there, but yeah.
Here's what I'm doing.
And I'm sure that was probably when she was going through something and she's like, yeah. Yeah, so actually so I have a whole team meeting that I can do on Tom Brady, and I'm actually putting together a whole team meeting that I can do on Taylor Swift because both of their stories are extremely compelling. But family reunion is coming up at the end of this month. Tony Robbins will be there. Mel Robbins, no relation. Mel Robbins is the author of The 5-Second Rule, which is an amazing book. You should absolutely read that. I think that's in my top 12 books that I suggested. I'm looking for discounted tickets and discounted rooms for people. So if you guys have any interest in going, let me know. I know the tickets right now, this second, if you go to buy them, are $1,000. They are going to go up. And if you've ever been to a Tony Robbins event, you can't see Tony Robbins for under $1,000. So it's actually a really good thing. I do have somebody that has hotel rooms for Monday, Tuesday. So if anybody's interested, let me know. There's 2 people that I'm working on trying to help out, but it's going to be an amazing event. I'm super excited to go there. So welcome new agents. We have Kristen, Monica, and Lisa. Joey's over Lisa's name, everybody. Welcome to the team, everybody. I don't see anybody in here. I think everybody, like, this is like the real holiday. Like people are taking it serious.
I'm here. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, Kristen, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
So Kristen tell us a little bit about yourself, Kristen.
Yes, I am transferring over from the beauty industry. I am currently an esthetician. So I am a little familiar about the entrepreneurship mindset in business. I'm very excited to meet you all, work with you all. I was trying to make it today, but didn't work out. I'm just thrilled. I'm eager to learn. I'm eager to grow with you guys, and I can't wait to meet you all.
Make sure everybody reaches out to Kristen. She's got a built-in database going already because of her previous business. So she's excited and she's going to do great things. So welcome, Kristen. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you, Frank.
All right, what do we have here now? Next. Happy birthday to Alan. I practiced saying the last name like 5 times and I'm still gonna mess it up. Somebody help me. There we go, perfect. Say happy birthday to Alan, make sure he feels welcome in the office. Westwood escrow update. Goalie just walked in under the wire. How are you doing, Goalie?
Good, how are you guys doing?
It's fantastic. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
Are you doing
Every
anything
day is
special?
Valentine's Day for me. I get a lot of love every day. I don't need it February 14th to pay, to do this, but, I just wanted to thank Yadira and, Alan and, Lena. They've opened escrows with me.
Woo!
On Alan's deal, our seller, there was a couple who passed away the night before last.
Oh,
And I thought the deal was gonna fall apart, but the wife was gracious and she said that, you know, let's just keep going with it. That's what my husband wanted.
wow.
So, I'm just waiting for that certificate so we can close the transaction. So things like that happen. It's
Wow.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. So I'm here for all of you. If you need anything, just let me know.
She's super attentive, so like,
Now, after this first time, there was a bill on the property.
No, because the property that they bought, I mean, the one they sold is not, they live in Hawaii. It's a piece of land they're selling.
Listen, legal eagle, like, I'm done with you today. No more. You've already said, no, we're done. No, Joe's not talking anymore today. So.
So they did not disclose, we have nobody died.
Imagine, I know what, this is a new discovery, canceling this.
They did hire here too, right? But you know, that's it.
All right, thank you, Goalie. If you guys need anything, she's super attentive. Contact her, and she's super knowledgeable, and she's super nice too. So, thank you so much, Goalie.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Clearmark title update. What's happening?
Today's a weird day for me because there's a lot of roses flying around and I have an adverse reaction to roses. based
I was
on
gonna
my-
get a whole dozen and bring them in and make you hand them out to everybody, but I was like, I don't wanna put them like PTSD or anything.
Yeah,
so.
no, well, I'm still getting it. Yours is golden dipped. We're for the golden bachelor generation. So it takes a little time. So
Golden Bachelor, we're the same age.
yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I also want to say thank you guys. We're all kind of growing together and I appreciate the opportunity to work with all of you. And we have already had some success. We're already, I can't believe like midway through February, but collectively through some of the offices, we have signed up about 47 new people, new agents on Title Toolbox. As a result of that and cold calling and some door knocking we've done, I just the other day I got a phone call. We have had 3 new listing appointments that are direct result from the door knocking and the cold calling from the list that we're providing. So, and 3 new listing appointments, I'm sorry, but 1 actually signed under contract. So let's go all in our strengths, and if we can help you do that, lean on us to help you do that. We're here to help and support you, and appreciate the opportunity to work with Goalie. They do force us to work together.
They forced me to work with you.
She's the best, but we're the team behind the team, so we're all here trying to help you guys and support you guys. So thank you. Have a good
Thank you, Barry, we appreciate that. Look at this, everybody's got hearts, look at that. Golden's got hearts,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, next, Rocket Mortgage, Oscar's got some hearts going on, that's pretty cool. I just love the themes of the team meeting.
Good news for us today.
Well, he's actually not feeling good, so he's actually not here, so.
Because I'm here, they did their right job.
I'd love to hear your take on that at some point, but like this, because they mentioned, now we know though. Right, like it's almost like people are kind of been trying to guess what the rates are gonna, like, now we kind of know. Our Rocket guys in the Beverly Hills office, say, okay, cool, there's some clarity now, so you can go talk to your buyers and say, okay, let's not wait for this maybe drop in the next couple of months or quarters. Now's the time to go buy, like, there's some clarity on it, so.
And the inflation goes up.
Yeah.
All the numbers, is nice.
You have to keep this in perspective, though, is that the rates are a great talking point. It's a great conversation piece. But if you ever go back to your buyers and sellers and find out, why are you buying a house? Why are you selling a house? Most don't go, the rates just dropped, I'm buying a house. It's usually like, it's either a plus or a minus for the reason they're actually buying the house. Like I think it was Tracy I was just talking to, and it's, oh yeah, because we have some buyers. I'm like, well, why are they buying? I'm like, oh, well, they live with their mom and they're getting married and they're probably gonna have a baby. I said, that's why they're buying. They're gonna have no interest. I mean, the interest rates are what they are. And if they come down or go up, like there's different ways to handle that. But people are buying because of like life reasons. And so if you really pay attention to that, and use the interest rate conversation as like an accoutrement situation to like, this is what's happening in the background, and how do you get your people over that hump? Because right now when people, and this is what we're telling buyers, like if you buy something today, it's gonna be worth more tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day. This is not for all parts of California, but this is for most parts of the United States, because there is such a massive housing shortage. We're not going to change this in the next 1 to 2 to 3 years. So it's just, I get the interest rate thing, but I think it's really tough to have that conversation with the buyer or seller. But how much did it go up? Half? Whoa. So what's it at now, do you know?
7.25 yesterday, 7.5 yesterday.
But it's been kind of like doing this for like the last
Yeah,
6
but
months or
you
so.
know, it's gonna be a little panic attack.
Yeah.
For a week or 2 weeks and then it's.
Because that's what drives the news stories, right? People run news stories. Oh, the interest rate went up. Everybody goes, oh my God, it went up. And they have no idea what that
You know,
means.
it's not just about the rate, it's
Inflation.
about the, yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Last month they reported the inflation was going down. Then they said it was that to correct that the inflation has gone up.
Inflation has gone up. Have you made any big purchases lately, Joe?
Eggs, milk, butter.
Yeah,
Everything. That-
Rockefeller.
That's the scary part, not just
Yeah.
the rate.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's just our economy, like people are buying things, and this is the funny part of the conversation that like certain things are gonna go up in price, and then when inflation comes down, those prices aren't gonna change.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, eggs and milk are commodities, right? Those are just things that you can buy anywhere, so the commodities will change. But there's certain things that the prices are gonna go up and they're just gonna stay up, like homes. Right, so it's just like, it's a very interesting dynamic to see all of these things happen. But the real conversations with buyers and sellers are, why are you actually buying and selling? So, Oscar will probably be here next week, he'll have more insight on this stuff, but, yeah, thank you for that, Joe, because I did not know that. All right, advanced group property, look at that big old heart. Advanced group property inspections, if you, need something, catering, home inspection, Mary Kay is the person. She is a rock star. She is amazing. Moving on, we have my NHD, Kevin Polizzi. He is part of one of the bigger NHD companies that's out there when it comes to NHD stuff. So if you need any NHD stuff, you can talk to Kevin. He's awesome. Education Committee with Tracy Toffey. This is Friday, February 16th at 10 a.m. Tracy, are you on right now? I don't know if she's on. She's running around, she's dealing with like.
Yes, sorry, it's so hard to find the mute button. Sorry about that.
Did they move it? So tell us about the education committee meeting this Friday.
This Friday is our meeting at 10 a.m. It's open for anybody in the office that would like to find out what kind of classes are available for next month, or if you have suggestions for classes for next month. We invite everybody because this is for you, the agents. We want to try to service you and educate you on what you are looking for. So please join us Friday at 10 a.m.
And Tracy, I'll throw on top of that and say the best way to learn something is to teach it, right? It's not necessarily about you being an expert in any particular field but if you have a passion and an interest for something that you'd like to learn more about and practice your presentation skills, which is really, really important, I encourage people to teach.
Absolutely. Joey, do you want to come to our office and teach a class?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
The class that I'd like to teach is probably like, the two classes that I like to teach is the 145 or 135 and the 6 personal perspectives. They're two, but I'll teach anything.
Perfect. We'll be reaching out to you.
I'm in.
There you go. That's the way that works. Anybody else want to speak up? Yeah. Tracy will track you. She'll catch you. Thank you, Tracy, so much. We really appreciate that, and we appreciate your leadership. I will be on there, and just so you guys know, like if you come late, there's a chance you're gonna miss it because we keep it short and sweet and sync. Like we keep the train moving. So there's times where everybody was there, we talked about everything, and we were done in like 15 to 20 minutes. Like we're not messing around. So make sure you're there. I would love to see everybody in the room on the Zoom call on Friday. That would be amazing. All right, Westside coaching, we have on Monday. Where are my hearts? What's up with that? Man, I got my heart's got gyps. But anyway, Westside Elite coaching on Monday and Friday. We're actually having a really good turnout, and we're getting really, really good engagement and a lot of really great conversation. I'm getting some great feedback on it. So if you guys are struggling in your business, or if you have questions about your business, or you're thinking about what to do next, or anything that has to do with your business, please come to this. We do a little video excerpt in the beginning, and then we do a little motivational thing at the end, and then we have some conversation. This is actually, I usually leave my notes up here. And one of the things we talked about is the Ryan Holiday's other book, which is Obstacle is the Way. which to me, it's one of the amazing books. And you see, these are all the notes that we took during the little conversation at the beginning. But I think the key in the whole thing here is the consistency part. And so I would love to talk to you guys more about it. So Friday, right after the education committee, we're going to do that. So I would love to have everybody there. All right, Crest benefits. February 27th, 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. Lunch will be provided by Old Republic Home Protection. This is Gloria Navarro. You guys have seen her. She's been in the office before. Make sure you can come to that if you are here. New listings, my favorite part of the slide. Look at that. The listings got like a little pink background for like Valentine's Day. Isn't that cool? So Ashley Shoche, Gold Mine in Van Nuys, 1.179. Eliza got Alexandria, 3.695. Is that the whole building or just one unit? You never know. You never know in LA though. Could just be one unit. Eliza got another one on Seward for 3,495, and then Eliza again, 4,495. Congratulations to Eliza.
Wow.
It's the Eliza show. So Eliza got so multiple units on Seward, 2,245, 6,495, and then 5,495, and then Tracy Tofty, Elk Ridge and Castaic for 760,000. Tracy, can you tell us where this client came from and how you got it?
This is from our farm in Castaic.
And how long have you known this person?
Oh gosh, years. I door knock their house. Her husband passed away, unfortunately, and she wants to sell. And I've just always stayed in touch with her. She comes to all of our farming events, like the Thanksgiving pie event and our summer block parties. Yeah,
Has
just
she ever
known her
used,
a really long time.
has she ever used you before?
No,
So how many years do you think you've kept in contact with her before she listed her house with you?
8 years.
It's a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time.
Good job.
But I mean, would you follow up with somebody if you knew at some point they would use you? That's why they call it your data bank, because you just deposit into it every day and then it spits out something for you, right? And so, I mean, this person is like basically a friend with Tracy, and like they're like we see her walking her dog, and it's just it's a relationship. And the thing that I want to implore with people is like, the deeper you get into a relationship with somebody, the more chance that they're probably going to use you. All right, closings, the second best part of the team meeting. Patty Lopez on Heliotrope in Los Angeles for 2,700. John Teen on Summertime for 517,000 in Culver City. That's a deal in Culver City, if you say so myself. All right, so let's talk about the market update. So I have two things to talk to you about. First thing, who knows where your business is coming from? Who is your client right now? If you had to stereotype your client, who would it be? Sphere, well, Sphere, but like a specific person. Do you guys know?
Yes,
Who?
one of my clients, two of them that I'm working at this new transaction.
So my question is your client a male? Is it a female? Are they 18 to 30? Are they 50 to 60? You know, what type of demographic are you looking at, you know?
For me, mostly are 70 and up,
Okay, so, yeah,
30s to 40s.
okay, male or female?
One male, one female.
Okay, so right now, do you guys know what demographic owns more real estate than anybody else?
Single women.
Single women.
Yes.
Well, single women in the US own 10.95 million homes, which is 2.71 less than men. So there is a big, so for Valentine's Day, like single women, and so the reason why this is happening is that because women have realistically and historically are more responsible than men. Is that a shocker?
No.
I don't think it's a shock. The women are like, nah, it's not a shocker at all. So they're more responsible than men. Also, that single women, this is not just a general single women, like all 30, 40-year-old single women. This is like women outlive men. Is that a shocker? No.
And I can bet half of them are, well, they got the property through divorce.
All right. You know, what, I half did not want to put this slide in here because I'm like, this is gonna go sideways in some way, shape, or form. And Joe is on a roll today, let me tell you. It started on my drive to work, when an agent calls me and said, I talked to Joe.
Joe, that's the.
But anyway, so this is my point, is that women are more responsible. And I think that one of the bigger conversations that people have had in life is that women make less than men. But that's actually starting to shift a little bit. So if you're looking at the largest demographic by a lot to find out who is your next client, one of the best places you could go is LinkedIn and look for professional women that are out there, that are executives that are out there, and they are on LinkedIn. That's where you're going to find a lot of your professionals and a lot of your executives. And just know that, like, when you're talking to people, who really holds the power? You think it's the guys. It's not. It's the men. I mean, it's the women. It's the women out there that are actually holding the power. And this is going to mean something in a number of years when they go to sell. And if they are more financially responsible, wouldn't it be smarter to have a conversation with them about investing in real estate? And showing them the path on how to become an investor, because they are clearly outpacing everybody else in demographics. So keep that in mind when you're going through your database. The next part, who has heard about the lawsuits that have been happening, the commission lawsuits? What do you guys know about them? Do you guys know anything about them? You heard about what Keller Williams did? So the reason that we settled, Gary Keller wrote a $70 million check for you guys. What that means is that you are not going to be liable for copycat lawsuits, but that only lasts so long. And during this period of time, while we're protected against anybody jumping out to try and sue us over these things, and the way it works is that back in Missouri, they put together a whole bunch of people that sold their houses. They sold their houses, and they complained about the commission that the agents were paid. And I read the entire transcript. I read all the testimony that was actually given. And what I realized is that, one, the agent did not explain everything well enough. Two, this is the big one, the people who signed the contract did not read the stupid effing contract. They didn't read the contract. Because you don't have to pay 6%. You don't have to do any of that. It wasn't explained to them, and they didn't read the contract. That's the two major things I got away in the takeaway. But at the end of the day, a jury went in and deliberated for, like, I don't know, 30 minutes, a half an hour, something like that, and came back and said, we're guilty, and levied this whole thing. Now, everybody's fighting it. There's appeals and all of that stuff. But in the end, we're talking about billions upon billions of dollars that could have been spent on the brokerage side to protect us, to defend us. That is just, in my mind, insanity. And so Gary Keller decided to write a $70 million check, which is like a fraction of what it would have cost the industry to actually protect us as we're moving forward. So if anybody out, so this is for us. If you're an independent brokerage and somebody wants to go out and copycat sue you right now, they're in trouble. I know right now, I was told by one of the Keller Williams executives that Joey and I met with this last weekend, that there was a large team in Texas that somebody decided to go after this team. And they're like, what if we don't have the money to defend ourselves? What do we do? And so one of the things that they could do is they joined us. They joined us because now they're protected. And so what I want to talk to you guys about now is how do we protect ourselves moving forward? And I got 3 really powerful tips that I want to share with you and talk about what the industry is going to do changing moving forward, that I am going to talk about with Rich, our broker, and Joey about doing right now this second. Because it's no secret, we're in California. If you breathe the wrong direction, you get hit with a lawsuit, right? So this is a sue-happy state. And I've already seen it. I've seen Instagram ads. to say, if you feel like you've been victimized by Remax's commission splits, call us. I was like, what? Are you serious right now? That was like, I took a screenshot of it because I couldn't believe it. But the thing is that there are ways to protect yourself. And so, this is coming straight from Gary Keller. So the 3 things that you can do. So let's talk about it. So Joey, I gave Joey a task today. I don't know if he's still on, but I wanted to go over the 3 things. Create a strong value proposition for yourself. You create a menu of services and you become versed in a buyer broker agreement. So Joey, are you on still? Really? Did he just?
He bailed on it.
He bailed on
He's
me.
looking for you.
No, well, no, she sees him, she has the computer in the back, she can see if he's on or not. Man, he's killing, all right, so, let's talk about this. A strong value proposition. Does anybody have an example of a value proposition? Anybody? Does anybody know what a strong value proposition is? Nobody? Nobody. Tammy, do you know a strong value proposition? I just,
Are you talking about value proposition as far as seller and buyer?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, we would have to do all of, what you bring to the table. Are you talking about your USP?
yeah, like your USB, so not to put you on the spot too much, but so this is the thing. You are all right now, this second, are a commodity. You're all a gallon of milk, you're all a thing of eggs, because guess what? You do what everybody else does. So what you do with a value proposition is that you have to do something to make yourself different. What value do you bring to the table? And I'll give you an example. When I was selling real estate at a high level by myself, I would sit in front of a client and my listing presentation was set in 2 parts. It was set in value proposition and then price your home. If I got through my value proposition, my question to you at the end was, do I look like the agent that could sell your home for you? If the answer was yes, then we talked about the price of the home. If the answer was like, I'm not sure, I'm still interviewing people, we didn't talk about the house. But in my value proposition, one of the things that I did is that I added in things that I know that nobody else did that made me look way more attractive. For example, I said, I have a communication guarantee with my service that if I don't talk to you a minimum of once a week on what's going on with your property, I'll take $1,000 off of my commission. And then I'd get jokes like, well, I just won't answer my phone. I said, oh no, I'll email you, I'll text you, and then I'll show up at your house. Because guess what? I earn my money, I want my money, and I'm going to make sure that you have all the information you need to make the right decisions when you sell your home. So that's one example. And no, I don't know if anybody else had ever had a communication guarantee. I just kind of made that up because I also had a 19-day your home sold guarantee, which is another class. But you have to create a value proposition on something that makes you special. Because right now, people are talking to multiple agents. And if they talk to 4 agents, what are you going to do to stand out? Like Kelly, you know LA very well because of your family, right? So that's a value proposition, is that I know LA better than anybody else. And all she has to do is say her last name and explain who that is. And then that's hard to argue against, right? Am I right?
These people either know or they don't.
Right, but if you explain it to them, like, this is who this person was, like, and I don't want to out you or anything, but I'm just saying, you could explain that and talk about your family history, and then there'd be no argument. Like, there's nobody that could come in to argue against that value proposition that I know LA better than everybody because of my family. And so you just have to figure out what makes you unique. And sometimes, like, Shoku could probably pull her sales. And, I've sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth of property, and that could become a value proposition. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. If you guys want a class on how to create the best value proposition, come to the education committee meeting, suggest it to Tracy, and we can get it on our thing. Create a menu of services. So how many of you show up at a listing appointment, you talk about how great you are, Talk about how high you can sell the price for it and then get them to sign the contract. Put a sign in the yard and get 25 offers and it sells. That's why there's a lawsuit against us. Because they don't know what you did to sell that house. They think you showed up, talked about how great you are, told them about how much you could sell the house for and put a sign in the lawn and then it sold. And they all think, well, I could have done that. I could have put a sign in my yard and I could have sold it myself. So is that all you did? Or did you do more than that? More than that. So the problem is that we as an industry are not articulating to the client the amount of work and effort that it takes behind the scenes to get the house sold. Even if we show up, get the contract signed, throw a sign in the yard and get 25 offers, there is still a litany of things that you do in the background that nobody knows about. Am I right or wrong? Right? So if I were to ask you, you price a house right, Shoku, you price a house right, you put a sign in the yard, you get 25 offers. Give me some of the things that you've done in the background that nobody knows about.
It's very hard actually if it's 20 because we had 5 and we couldn't really do what. But the first thing I do, I check very detailed financially to make sure this open will be closed.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. And then also makes the process very easy for them. Like one of them we had like for Beverly is there is something that we have to took it off and she said, I'm working, I have no time. And we said, don't worry, we have a handyman, we're gonna bring them. We took everything off, we put the printer over there, we're painting, and then that's something that usually you just suggest to the owner and leaving, but we didn't. We follow, one day I stand and the other day she stand, and then we make sure everything is patched, and then we move all the water cans. I mean, it's something extraordinary to have.
And there's probably 10 other things.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the issue. Nobody knows about these things. We know about them. We know about how hard we work. We get frustrated when we lose a listing or somebody tries to steal a listing from us because of all the hard work that we did. So the way that you combat this is you never go to a restaurant and sit down and they go, what do you want? You're like, can I see a menu? Like, no. What do you want? What do you have steak? No. What do you want? That never happens, right? You show up at a restaurant, they hand you a menu. And then you order from the menu or you ask questions. So the thing is that any place you go to get services will typically have a menu of services. You should develop a menu of services because this is the thing. Shoku does different things on her listings and her sales than Joe does, than Glenn does, than Jerry does, because Jerry's not an agent, he's a title officer. So he does a whole bunch of different things. But my point is that part of your unique value proposition can be in your menu of services as well. Because do you do something, do you go the extra mile, and do your clients know about it? And this is the thing, if you say 6%, this is what I do. And somebody's like, well, I don't want that. Can I have 5%? Right? It becomes a negotiation, which it's supposed to be. Commissions are negotiable. If you put a litany of menu of services down there, then you have a point to negotiate from. Instead of trying to argue for your value, you get to defend your value because you're doing more than anything else. So when somebody says, you put a sign in my yard and I got 25 offers, like, what did you do? You could be like, remember that thing you signed on my listing agreement? This is what I did. And then there's no question. And it eliminates that. The other thing, which is the last thing, and if you guys have questions, raise your hand, is the most important one, is the buyer broker agreement. I honestly don't know of an agent that really uses this. And I first of all, I don't like working with buyers. And whenever I worked with buyers, they were so close to me and I was such good friends with them that I never felt a need to use one. But then again, I would never list a house without a contract. Would you ever list a house? Joe, would you ever list a house without a contract? No. Why? Why not? Just put it on the market.
What kind of guarantee do I get?
There's no guarantee, just list it. You never do that? Would anybody list a house without a contract? Why in the hell would you take out a buyer without a contract? Because what's the whole thing? Buyers are
Buyer.
See, if I can command a room to like repeat that, finish that sentence, that is just like, that sentence right there tells you you need a contract. When you know you're gonna work with somebody and there's like a 50-50 shot, they're not telling you the truth, why would you not have them sign a contract? Because like, and that's what I would say to people. They're like, well, no, I don't want to sign a contract. I'd be like, have you ever heard the thing that says buyers are liars? I would just say it and just like work it out. Yes.
Like, just be cute to make sure they're pre-qualified.
Absolutely, 100%. So that leads me to the other thing. What's the easiest way to get a buyer contract signed? What if you got a buyer contract signed the same way you did a listing contract? How do you get a listing contract signed? Anybody?
Yeah, we met them sitting, talking and asking.
You met them, you did a presentation, and then they signed the listing contract, right?
Yes.
So I don't know, this is me being weird. Maybe if you got a buyer, you met them, you did a presentation, and you had them sign a contract. That makes sense, right?
Yes.
The problem is there's so many fly-by-night and part-time real estate agents in this business that people will call you and literally be standing in front of the house and say, I just found a house on Reseda and I want to see it. Can you come over here? No? Okay, click. Hold on. Hi. And he called different agents. The reality is they call the agents and nobody would answer and he'd just keep calling until somebody answered the phone. But then he said, and we're so desperate for business and we want a $25,000 commission because the average price is $1 million, that we will literally hang up the phone and run to show that property in hopes to catch a buyer. True or not true? Right? And especially in Beverly Hills, do you know the average price point in Beverly Hills, Jerry?
I don't.
5 million, maybe? But my point is that the price is so attractive that we like sidestep all the things that are important to try and get a client, and then we waste the most expensive thing in our life. And what is the most expensive thing? It's not the most important thing, it's the most expensive time. And so I always go back to the number 2 or number 1 Kentucky real estate agent that did that. I don't know if you guys remember this, was back in about 5 to 10 years ago. She got a call from a buyer that wanted to see a house. She showed up and nobody ever saw her again. Nobody knew where she was, nobody knew anything. And it's just like that was like a red flag, like start getting a buyer broker signed, start getting people pre-approved. But I actually, if you guys want, who would want to have a buyer presentation class on how to do an actual presentation and get a buyer broker signed? Would anybody want that? Okay, please come to the education committee meeting and let Tracy know. And I will do my own personal one that I have. And the one that I do is where I actually sit with somebody, I give them a visual presentation. I have my title officer and my loan officer, and those 2 people talk to them during the presentation. So like, wouldn't it be cool if you presented to your buyer, had the lender talk to them, got the contract signed and had them pre-approved all in within like a couple of hours? Wouldn't that be cool? Saves on time. But yeah, any questions about this? Yes.
I think all this is great. How much emphasis do you put on your disc profile? Like knowing how you come across, your needs and wants, and understanding the personality of the people that you're talking to. Because I think that sometimes we can leave an appointment and not hear things that we want to hear because we're a certain way.
Yeah.
Or we talk too much during the appointment and that person we're sitting across from position. So do you focus on that at all?
I do. I talk about that because the thing is that during a listing presentation, the biggest faux pas that I think we make as agents is we talk about ourselves too much. Talk about how amazing we are, and you actually have nothing to do with it. So when you sit down with a buyer, a seller as well, but we're talking about buyers. When you sit down with a buyer, the best thing that you can do is ask questions and listen. Ask questions and listen, because a lot of times most people don't even know what they want. And your job is almost like, I tell people, like you have like the 2 degrees that you need in real estate that you don't have is you need a marketing degree and you need a psychology degree. Because most of the time you're giving therapy to your clients, right? How many times you have conversations with your clients that has nothing to do with real estate and they're just freaking out, right? All the time. So the thing is that the only way you can get to what somebody wants is you have to ask them the right questions. You just have to ask questions, you have to listen. Listen with intent to understand what they're saying, not to respond. So I go through all of that and I give you the set of questions that I do with I sit down with my buyers and then I talk to, and then I figure out where they're at and what their true goal is. Like, Tracy and I, we have a coach, and the coach was just like, if they don't buy in the next, when's their threshold? Like, if you don't find anything by July, what happens? And we started asking them all these questions. And I had an agent sit down with me and said, I have these friends that's talking to me and another agent. I said, how good of friends are they? They're really good friends. I go, why are they talking to another agent? She goes, but I told them that you should do this, and I told them you should do that, and I told them, and I said, hold, do you have kids? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, have you ever tried to tell your kids to do anything? She goes, oh yeah, they don't listen. I go, buyers are your children. Sellers are your children. If you tell them, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to rebel. So you have to ask them questions. Like when somebody goes, I want $4.5 million for my property. Why do you want $4.5 million for your property? Well, I think that's what it's worth. Well, what makes you think it's worth 4.5? You start asking questions and you lead them down a path by asking questions to get them so you guys are all on the same page. If you do that, if you can figure out how to do that by coming to the training that we have here, that will set you apart when you're sitting in front of a client, because when you ask questions, it shows that you care and get them more closer to where they want to be in their life with their health. Does that make sense? Questions? What questions, thoughts?
No, but buyers and sellers are the same. I mean, it's like sellers think that their house is worth
Yep.
$20 million, whether it's worth $1 million, if that. And then you've got buyers that, I don't think I want to pay that much because I think it's only worth 900,000, not 20 million.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's a really good point. So the thing is that when you have a seller that is unreasonable like that, you have to go through a direct line of questioning. Like if your house is worth 4 million, but he thinks it's 4.5, my question is, what makes you think it's worth 4.5? Do you want to role play?
No.
Okay. Joe.
Yesterday, I'm working with Bobby, he's the new agent in the
Yeah,
office.
Bobby's awesome.
Yeah, he's great, and then we went on a conference call with the seller, so he's working on the listing already. And then, we spoke about how we're gonna approach it, how we're gonna make the seller feel good, ask him questions, see where he is, we're not gonna give him a price. So the seller was at $2 million.
Yeah.
And then you knew that this is more like a 1.4. So we asked him, how much do you think? It says $2 million. I've been looking on Redfin, da, 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 da. So, we started going at it, just like you explained. And then at the end of the conversation, we are almost there, having him agree to a 1.4 listing. So even though that he was thinking that, but when we asked him, where did you get number, and we show them the comp, we show them all that. At the end of the conversation, he is 90% okay with listing it at 1.4 after we explained to him why and the comps and all that. So
yeah,
that was an interesting thing.
What do you do when they're both? When there's somebody who has to sell their house to buy a house?
Mhm.
How do you manage their expectations and what the house might be worth to buy it, also at the same time manage their expectations as to what.
So that's actually a really good situation, because when you have somebody that has to sell that wants to buy, they have to get pre-qualified. They have to. And so when you get somebody pre-qualified, like let's say I call Oscar and I'm like, Oscar, I have somebody that's selling their house and they want to buy. Now what I did is I just added to my team to have conversations to leverage myself. So it's not me talking to him about what it's worth and what he can buy to where he can argue with me. I have two people. And so what happens is I leverage myself. I go, Oscar, listen, this is what he's thinking and this is what he's saying. I was wondering if you could just give him a call and back me up a little bit and blah, blah, blah. And now we tag team, which gives us more. And we do it in a way that makes them feel like, okay, they know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. But it can be a tricky situation. And sometimes people are unreasonable. One of the ways that I found too with a seller that is unreasonable, when they go, I want 2.5, it's really 2. I'll walk in, I already know the comps. I already know everything. So I did my due diligence. I'll ask them, I'll say, let me ask you a question. If you walked out of this place with $1.05 million in your pocket, everybody's been paid, the check you get is $1.05 million, and you get to go to the bank with that, would you be happy? Most of the time, 90% of the time, they say yes. I go, great. Let me show you what that looks like. And then I back into everything, the commission, all of that stuff. And then I'm negotiating from a place of power because I already have money in his pocket. This is what he's walking away with. I already have the price set. This is what he's walking away with. And then if he goes, well, you know, I still want 2.4. My question is easy. Why? Why? Like there's something there. And you have to have somebody that's motivated to buy or sell. So what the real question is, are they really motivated? And that's what you have to get to, a buyer and a seller. Like the buyers that Tracy and I are working with right now, like they're planning on getting married. So there's a hard date of when they're getting married and what they're gonna do, that if they don't find anything, because they're slowly, day by day, getting priced out of the market, that they're gonna have to rent for an entire year after they get married, maybe have a baby, and then they're gonna have to revisit this. And then almost guaranteed prices are gonna be 5% higher. And that's conservative for where they're looking. So we can do that class, but come to the education committee meeting on Friday. If you guys have questions for me, let me know. I do have an appointment right after this meeting, so we're gonna wrap things up and get this party started. Needs and wants, needs and wants. Who has needs and who has wants? We have champagne, cookies, Valentine's Day goodies, orange juice. The orange juice going to champagne?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. When I go to brunch, I see it, but I never put it in there. Yes, sir. What do you got?
Looking for any sort of a fixer in the valley.
You and everybody else.
The only difference is I'm willing to give away some of my commission.
You and everybody else.
I'm willing to give all my commission. Okay, got it.
You like me.
Fixer in the valley. Got it. Okay. And no price point, just a fixer. Okay. All right. Who else?
Okay, Craig.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just gonna add something to
Yes.
that, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Can you
On
come?
Thank you.
the buyer presentation.
Yes.
And what I love about the contract that you said, you know, I mean, if you would do it with a listing, then why are we not doing it with the buyer?
Yeah.
But it's always a challenge, right? When they call.
Yeah.
And you don't get, you know, you run over to clear across town. So something, that I do and I teach a lot of my agents is when they go ahead and they call you, something that you could do to keep them on the phone and say, are you just interested in this house? Or are you interested in off-market properties or foreclosures as well? To keep them on, that piques their interest. That gives you a unique selling proposition. Oh, she has other properties that you don't. And then your next question, this is really important. How many of you, by a show of hands, have ran over and shown a property and they're like, thanks, I'll let my agent know.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody who's
100% that's happening.
Right, so then you can roll into, after you find out the information on the showing time, then just ask them, who's your agent? Don't ask them, are you working with an agent? That's a yes or no question, and buyers are liars.
Yeah.
But if you say, who is your real estate agent, they can't lie.
Yeah.
They literally can't. So that will give you a good heads up. And if they say they're not working with anybody, you're not away. But I just want to put that in while it's on.
Awesome. That's great stuff. That's great stuff. Awesome. Any more needs and wants? Going once. Going twice. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. Yes, sir. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, what is it? I have your money right now. Can you tell me right now?
So we give,
I